G'day viewers, the end of another week means it's time once more for me to bring you a weekly edition of Totally Fucked Up Friday. Even if it's a Saturday, sometimes that happens. Okay, so let's just move on and not dwell on that too much. And I just want to quickly talk about a story that I'm not going to really have a roundabout, which sounds like a contradiction, but there was an event, Australian radio duo prank called The Hospital, where Kate Middleton, or I suppose her middle name is De Greek now because her grandmother married Phil De Greek, so her married name is De Greek. That's a really obscure sort of 70s Australian joke. I don't even know why I did it. But anyway, they called where the royal mother is, and they actually got through and they got some confidential information. It was all a stir. And extremely tragically, the nurse who was responsible for putting the call through appears to have committed suicide. And a lot of people said, oh, it's fucked up. It is, and I will just reiterate, I very rarely do videos about stories about death, particularly when there's tragic circumstances, because it's just fucked, and I don't want to be seen to be making jokes or making mileage out of someone else's suffering. I will just throw in one thing, though. Anyone who's jumping on the let's hate the DJs bandwagon, I mean, seriously, commercial radio generally, I'd be happy if it was gone. Everything from the horrible music to the endless ads to the inane non-stop blather that presenters are forced to keep up by their employers. But seriously, if you're joining the internet vigilante group and launching hate and threats against these presenters, you're worse than them. It's as simple as that. You are considerably worse. There is right at the bottom of the pile of the scum of humanity, in my opinion, is internet vigilantes. Seriously, attacking them does no good and considerable harm, so fucking pull your head in. And that's all I'm saying on that topic. I want to quickly talk on episode 1 million of an ongoing series. People are trying to fuck the internet up on us. In case you just thought, hey, isn't the internet safe? No. And the two big ones, and I have mentioned them both before, but they're still going on, and I'll provide a few links below if you want to be scared. The two big acronyms at the moment are ITU, the International Telecommunications Union. Yes, the telcos who act like such a cartel that the mafia won't take it that far. I was going to say the mafia takes lessons from them, but I think the mafia actually goes, really, guys? You're going to do that? I mean, sure, okay, we broke that guy's legs because he owed us money, but really? You want to do that? Their proposals are bad, and it wouldn't bother them at all if they fucking killed the internet as we know it, because it threatens their revenue model, essentially, and that's all they care about. Links about that. And the other one is the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's the US linking up with people from my part of the world. It's a trade agreement, and it's got a lot of stuff tied into it about intellectual property. These are the sort of people who come up, hey, let's do a 3 strikes and out. If you get accused of downloading stuff illegally on the internet 3 times, we'll cut off your internet. It's just the worst fucking thing. So again, links, and it's the type of thing where you want to let politicians know you know about it. There are politicians around the world who have spoken against some of these proposals, and the US is basically behind all of them. For those who don't understand how global politics work, the US has the biggest voice. They have the biggest economy, they have the most influence, the most guns, all those sorts of things. So these sort of trade agreements tend to be pushed by the US, and the US is most likely to be able to change them. And it's not all bad. The US is telling the ITU they're going too far on a few things, but who knows if they'll listen. And it was a weird thing that happened a little while ago. The US Republican Party put out a policy statement on intellectual property that everyone said was fucking brilliant. Anyone who's, a public advocate or a technology advocate said, that's good, that's the first sane thing anyone's ever said. So, of course, the big studios hammered the Republicans immediately. You can't fucking say that, that's reasonable, and just, it counts someone apart from us. And so the Republicans withdrew it in 24 hours. They got hammered 24 hours after publishing it. They disowned it. And in fact, they have just sacked the guy who wrote it. Just fucking insane. I mean, it was always the Democrats who were most in the pocket of Hollywood and the record studios. The the immoral Babylon of Hollywood that the Republicans wanted to not have anything to do with. And then they apparently worked out how much money the lobbyists have, and now it's like the Republicans and the Democrats try and outdo themselves with introducing fucked laws to protect an outmoded business model of the record companies and movie studios. But you know what? Get involved. That is literally the only answer. Don't be angry. Go to places like the EFF and your local equivalents. They're all around the world. Get involved. Write. Let your voice be heard, because this shit is just non-stop. Oh my God, and I want to finish it by lightening up. I carry a hashtag in my pocket. Yes, I do. Hashtag dumb criminals. Over the years, I have done so many stories on dumb criminals from around the world. As I was researching this one, just because I saw a bunch of stories pop up this week about dumb criminals, occurred to me the very popular viral video that came out of the Melbourne train service about dumb ways to die. Could do our own version of a song more or less to that tune. Dumb criminals. Ainsy was here, he'd be singing now. He's the singer. I'm even worse than him. But hey, look, musical friends of mine in Melbourne, we should get together. We could do this. Just some examples. And I'm going to start with one from Australia, because the rest all come from one certain country, and I don't want people to think I'm picking on them. And my previous stories have definitely come from around the world. But this one is a guy who's decided to take up the cause of West Papuan independence. It's a very local politics thing. Just to the north of Australia, Indonesia annexed West Papua, half of Papua New Guinea. It's very complicated, the naming's up there now with the politics of it. But West Papua is an Indonesian province. It was notoriously, the document where they strong-armed the locals into signing it at gunpoint was called an act of free will. Yeah, like freely sign that before I shoot you type of thing. So this guy has taken on the cause. He wants to help with West Papuan independence. Does he lobby politicians? Does he lobby companies that are trading in the area? No, he goes and gets training in a Ukrainian paramilitary camp and says he's going to take up arms and lead the West Papuans against their Indonesian oppressors. You can argue that that's an admirable cause. I would argue that you are thick as fucking pig shit if you update your progress on Facebook, your training, and now I've got my guns and I'm going to have an armed insurrection in West Papua. That's what's known in the world as illegal. If you are doing illegal things, particularly stuff that is an armed insurrection against a foreign power, best if you don't put it all up on Facebook. And if you look at the link down there, there's a really surreal element that one of the, a young guy spent time dressed up in a Bambi onesie. I'm sure that's all above board, okay? I'm not passing judgment. Yes, I am. That shit, that's totally fucked up. Now, the rest of my fucked up criminal stories, I'll admit, look, they all come from the USA, okay? Don't say that's typical. That's racist. But these stories are true. And just the diversity of it. There was this woman in Texas arrested trying to steal a huge amount of tampons from a Wal-Mart. It's like, oh, dear, how did you know that would go wrong? Because that was the third time she has been caught at the same Wal-Mart by the same staff trying to steal the same thing. She actually had an ankle bracelet on as part of a previous conviction. It's like, this, you cannot send out a clearer message to the world. Hi, I can't function in society. You may as, shoplifting's not that seriously grim, but you may as well just lock me up because I can't fucking function in society. And it's not just Texas. There was a great one announced in Illinois. A murder plot foiled. A guy is planned to kill a really rich dude who had apparently been having an affair with his wife. But he had a cunning master plan. Blame the cat. Now look, I'm not claiming to be a master criminal. But here's my advice. If you are involved in any sort of plot, and then someone goes, and then we'll blame the cat. Just, no, out. Do not be involved at that point. This guy was apparently going to try and get the guy in the bathtub and throw in an electric radio to electrocute him and throw the cat in as well. To try and make it look like the cat did it. So yes, that will be one, that I think I will add that to my catchphrase repertoire. Blame the cat when someone comes up with the stupidest, most totally fucked up idea ever. I'm just going to respond with, and then we'll blame the cat, which is my way of saying, fuck off out of my life. I am done with you. So very done. Oh, and I'm trying to, there were literally so many of these that I am, yes, my eyes went down there. I'm consulting my notes down there. There was so, I want to finish on what I thought was the dumbest. There was a challenge. This guy, he became my freakiest. In Maine, where prostitution is illegal, this guy has engaged a prostitute, but thinks she sort of shut him down 10 minutes earlier. So he called the police to say, this prostitute in my hotel room is ripping me off by leaving 10 minutes early. I want you to do something. They did something. They arrested him because prostitution's illegal in Maine. So, okay, he's dumb. He's thick as pig shit. But if you get the background, he's a fucking weirdo freak as well. Apparently, he's on a few websites that escorts use to warn about bad clients. He's a fruit bat. He just calls people up and say, come to my house for naughty sexy times, and then doesn't answer the door or pulls some weird shit. So it's like, yeah, he's like the perfect storm of thick as pig shit and really, really fucking creepy weird. Again, I'm thinking, and because this guy has multiple events in his background, I'm thinking this is one of the cry for help type things, like not really fit to be part of society. I couldn't make it more obvious. You probably should, lock me up and, just be done with it. But my prize for really, really stupid, dumbest, most totally fucked up criminal of the week. Okay, this is about an armed robbery. A young 19-year-old woman was involved in an armed robbery. See, where criminals often come undone is someone talks. And sometimes criminals are dumb and they boast. Sometimes they boast in a public place and someone calls up the police and says, hey, this person's just saying they committed an armed robbery. Sometimes, if they're really, really, really fucking stupid, they make a YouTube video, don't obscure their face, wave a big thing of cash around and go and say, yo, jacked a car, did an armed robbery, I'm gangster as. You are fucking stupid as. This is no, I don't want you off the street because you're an armed robber. I want you off the street because you are so fucking stupid. You are absolutely incapable of functioning as a part of a normal society.